Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is July 11th, and this is Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. I'm Sally Reyes, your acting sergeant at arms, and I would like you all to take your phones and phone and set it to silence. Thank you. We won't interrupt the wonderful stories. And I would like to uh, greet and celebrate our new president. And we're talking Taliban Hobbit. Please welcome and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Acting Sergeant at Arms. Welcome, all of you, to another amazing meeting of Leaders Worldwide. And this is the start of a new year for all of us. So I believe that it is only appropriate that we try to remember what Toastmasters is about. I'm fond of saying that Toastmasters is not about communication skills. It's not even about leadership skills. Before all that, Toastmasters actually makes you a better human being. You learn to help each other. You find yourself responding to people like you never did before. That happened with me. You find yourself advising people and genuinely having a desire to see them improve and for them to do well in their lives. And I believe this is the one thing that Toastmaster instills in you first. And later, you go on to become better communicators, and then in turn, you go on to become better leaders. But without being a better human being, I believe all of that is useless. And we are so blessed here that Leaders Worldwide is full of amazing, wonderful human beings. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you so much all for being here today with us at the start of a new year. Looking forward to great things. And before we move forward, we have a couple of guests with us. And dear guests, please forgive me. My propensity to mispronounce names is only matched by my zeal to try to pronounce them. So correct me if I'm wrong. And we'll have our first guest, Rowan King. Would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Rowan King, and I'm a university student, and I'm kind of just here to get better at public speaking and my communication skills. But I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are even more excited to have you, Mr. Rowan. Next, we have guest Laura Nathany Malema. And please tell me if I butchered that.
Morning, everyone. I just switched my camera off because I'm still driving. So when I'm arriving, I will turn it on again. But my name is Laura. I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm a Toastmaster now for around 2 years. Yes, and I really enjoy it, and also meet new people and to jump on other meetings. So I saw this one coming in the group WhatsApp, and I was free tonight. So I would love to join today.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to have you. And thank you for sharing that pic of magical European sunshine with us. And this is the magic of Leaders Worldwide. Like here I am sitting at 11 p.m. at night. And some of us are experiencing beautiful daylight. And some of us are experiencing evenings. And that is the true magic of a global club. So without further ado, it is my pleasure and honor and privilege to welcome our Toastmaster of the day. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Maureen Sevier.
Thank you so much, Tala. I appreciate you, and I am so honored and blessed to be the Toastmaster of the day today. As Hitala said, it gives us the opportunity to become better people and better leaders. So the first thing I'm going to announce is there have been a lot of changes to the agenda today as we are dealing with life as it is. If you have your agenda and you want to look at it, the number one change, one of the changes is that Victor is doing dual duty today. He is both the timer and the keynote speaker. For the first half of the meeting, Kathleen will be the timer for him when he is speaking, and then he will shift to the timer role for the second half of the meeting. The second half of the meeting is also rearranged and reordered. Number one is Sheena will be doing the table topics first, right after the break. Then we will be moving to the first speaker. Isaac had a family emergency come up unexpectedly, so he will not be here today. And Linda Patton was also called to another duty. So Tala will be the evaluator for Kathleen, and Kathleen will be doing the first speech of the day. Then Teresa Cherry is stuck in an airport, so she will not be the evaluator for Cynthia. Seema will be here after 12 o'clock, and she will be the evaluator to Cynthia. So let's everybody just take a deep breath. Nobody has to memorize anything. It's information for you if you like to go by the agenda, or otherwise you could take the agenda and rip it up and say, just rely on me to lead us through and hope I remember what I'm doing when it's time. And I so appreciate Laura offering the opportunity, offering to be a role. You never know what may happen during the course of the meeting today. So thank you for being willing to be on deck. Okay. So now I'm taking a deep breath because of all the changes that are here. The theme for today is optimization. And optimization is the action of making the best or most effective use of a situation or resource. I would say we are already putting that into effect today with all the opportunities and changes we're going through. For me, optimization came is because I have a little glimpse at what Victor may be talking about today. And I suspect he's going to be teaching us about optimization, best use of resources within the Toastmasters world. I also consider optimization as just being present, literally being available to what is here now. Allowing ourselves to get out of our head, get out of our memories, get out of our stories, and literally be here now to access what is available for us. And in the space of that, we may have resources we didn't realize we have. We may have situations we didn't know we were in, and we may be able to make best and effective use of what is here now to learn, to grow from, to expand into, or to drop like a hot potato because it no longer serves us. That being said, I now move into the next part of the meeting, which is introducing Marlon Parejo as our general evaluator. Marlon, please come to the stage and introduce your team and your role.
Pleasant good afternoon to all and sundry here, members of the executive, especially invited guests, fellow Toastmaster, and of course the Toastmaster of the meeting. Good afternoon. I am the general evaluator, and you know what that means? That means that I evaluate things generally because we want to get better. And if we have to get better, we need evaluation and feedback. And I'm going to be paying a close eye, quote unquote, wink, 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 keep a close eye on everything that's going on in the meeting, the timings and so on and things like that. But I do not have to do this all by myself. I have a team with me, the grammarian / accountant and the timer. So first, let me allow me to introduce to you our grammarian / timer, Toastmaster Sally, everybody. Sally, the floor is yours.
Sally,
Oh, are we? He had mentioned.
grammarian.
Thank you. As the grammarian, I am listening very closely to ill-used words or opportunistic words like either, or, and, but, okay, and And I like to look out for very interesting words that we all sometimes do not hear. And I'd love to catch some of those phrases that are unique. And so I think that we'll take it and we'll count who's doing what and how much better we've gotten since last time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Grammarian / Counter. And in order to keep our time, we know that time waits on no man. Let's welcome our time, everybody, Toastmaster Victor.
And I will stand in for Victor because Victor is a very busy boy in the first section of the meeting. So I will just stand in for him and I'll be timing Victor. And Victor's speech is 13 to 15 minutes. Here is the green. Here is the yellow for 14. Here is the red for 15. Now, Crazy Victor likes to teach us all his way. And I'm not sure, Victor, is that good with you? 13 to 15 minutes? That's the typical.
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine.
Very good. Thank you, Victor. And back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. And with that in mind, at the end of this meeting, I, the person who evaluates generally, will be giving a report on how we did in the meeting this afternoon or this morning or tonight, as the case may be, no matter which part of the world you are, and along with my team. So with that in mind, be on your P's and Q's, pay attention, use that word of the day. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Marlon. And I just heard Marlon use the word of the day. It is attention. And this is definitely a speech I think we would like to pay attention to. Our keynote speaker today, Victor Irving Jenkins, is a distinguished Toastmaster. And he's been a Toastmaster for over 20 years. You know, it's very elite, if you will, unique that to be a distinguished Toastmaster, only 1% of Toastmasters become distinguished Toastmasters, as I have learned. He is the founder of the View Attitudes podcast. And in a YouTube interview I watched of him, he coined View Attitudes because if you change your view, you can change your attitude. I think that's all very helpful for us to be with. Victor also assists people to develop confidence in online speaking. During today's speech, systems are designed for the benefit of a particular demographic, and it is no different with Toastmasters. Toastmasters has been around for over 90 years, making adjustments here and there to tweak, to accommodate us, their target market. Our keynote speaker today will take us through several steps that are integral to your success in the Toastmasters organization. Let's welcome to the stage Victor Irving Jenkins, Working the System Properly.
Woohoo!
8 times 7 is 56. 11 times 12 is 132. 12 times 12 is 144. 6 times 7 is 42. How many of you think that in the arena of mathematics, and what I don't know, I could probably learn? Well, the reason why that's so is because in mathematics, I am rooted and grounded in the fundamentals of mathematics, which means I know my 12-time table. When I started school and they were teaching us about our one-time table, it was a bit laborious. It was a bit troublesome, but I learned the 12-time table. Any combination of any two numbers between 1 and 12, I can give you the answer in probably 0.000000325 of a second. and it's because I'm rooted and grounded. Now, Toastmasters, on the other hand, the mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and a positive learning environment where every member develops the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. And the way that Toastmasters do that is through systems. I'm going to talk about two systems today. The first one is going to be Easy Speak. Now, for those of you that are Toastmasters that aspire to have self-confidence and personal growth, Easy Speak is where it all begins. Why? Because Easy Speak is the club administration software. It's nothing more than that, the club administration software. And you're not going to spend a whole lot of time on Easy Speak once you learn how to operate Easy Speak, because how many of you know how to change your oil? I don't. But you can get in your car, put the key in the ignition, and you can drive all over the place. You can drive from England to wherever you want to go anytime you want to. But Easy Speak is essential. Let's begin with the first thing that happens if you want to go to Easy Speak and you want to tell somebody what you're going to be doing. I don't know what this is, but it needs to go away. Let's share my screen again. There. So this is what Easy Speaks looks like once you log in. I don't think I need to teach you how to log in, because if you need to know how to log in, you can contact me later. But when you go to Easy Speak, it's very simple. You go to the My Participation tab and you want to sign up for a meeting. When you sign up for a meeting, it's going to look like this. Any role that you want to accomplish in Easy Speak, you choose it from here. The dates are up here. And if you are not going to be at a particular meeting, you can check no, and then nobody will assign you anything, because when the choices for assignments come up, your name will not appear. On the other hand, if you want to request a speech in Easy Speak, there's several ways to do it, but this is the number one way. Can anybody see my screen? Because sometimes, okay,
Yeah.
good. So you put your speech title. After you put your speech title, you put your workbook, and your workbook is going to be your Pathways project. And then your preferred date is going to be here, and you can choose the first.
Oh, Victor, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. We do need you to stop sharing and reshare because we did not follow the pop-up. You have
Well,
to stop
then-
sharing and reshare.
And let's stop sharing. And you can see me instead of what you were seeing. And now we are going to share the screen again. Let's go here. Is everyone looking at the Easy Speak page?
It's the,
Nod
yeah,
your head if you are. Okay.
it's the
So
same
and-
one. When you click the little request a speech button, you have to stop sharing and reshare.
Well, let's see how that's going to work. So now I got to stop sharing.
That's correct.
Okay, and then I reshare.
There we go.
You are sharper than anything.
I
Can
know
everybody
this.
see the request speech? Everybody sees that? Okay, so you go from the speech title to the workbook speech. The workbook speech is where you would choose your pathway. Let's just say today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a pathway project to show you what you do before you speak. I'm going to do on the mentor program, because I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. So, and this is what you choose. The speech that we're going to do is a 5 to 7 minute speech, but you'll learn more about that as time goes on. When you go to the preferred date, you choose whichever date is your first choice, whichever date is your second choice, whichever date is your third choice. And then the Vice President of Education will then either approve or deny your request, depending on if there's a whole lot of people trying to give a speech on the day that you want to give a speech, which is the problem we haven't had yet, but it is a problem that we would like to have. We would like to have people chomping at the bits to give a speech. You write a speech introduction, 2 or 3 sentences in the speech introduction. And after you do that, you don't really need to be on Easy Speak anymore. And now we go to the main portion that I wanted to do today, which is the pathway. It has come to my attention that some people are just not going to pass, they're just not accomplishing the competencies that they need to accomplish in pathways. And once we see the title of the speech, we tend to get ready to go ahead and do the speech. But there are things that we need to do before we do the speech. This project is mentoring level 4. And what I'm going to do is go through it rather quickly, rather laboriously, but every speech that you give, you must go through this process. This speech that I'm giving now is in the mentoring pathway. And since all of us eventually are going to be mentors, we can start out being mentors. This is going to be 2 purposes in 1. Because for those of you that don't know how to be a mentor, for those of you that are afraid, a little apprehensive about being a mentor, this is going to take away a lot of that angst. So here we go. This is the introduction. And if you haven't liked the sound of my voice so far, by the time I'm finished, you are going to. Mentoring another individual is a rewarding and challenging experience. It is now time to apply the work that you have done to identify your strengths and understand the role of a Toastmasters mentor. In this project, you will work with a protege for the first time. If you have mentored in the past, this may be a comfortable experience. If this is your first opportunity to mentor, you may have some real and important concerns. In order to facilitate the process of launching your mentoring assignment, this project includes guided worksheets and tools to help you learn about your protege, openly express and learn from each other's expectations, and start your protege on her journey toward reaching the goals that you set together. The purpose of this project is to apply your mentoring skills to a short-term mentoring assignment. The overview of this project: work with a protege to complete a project. Your vice president of education will help you match with a fellow Toastmaster who is interested in working with a mentor for a single project, which is any Toastmaster. Assist the protege in setting goals and developing a plan for completing his or her project. Use the forms included in this project to set goals, plan, and give and receive feedback. After your mentorship, deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech at a club meeting about your first experience as a Toastmasters mentor and what you learned from it. Assess your skills before. Now, I think I know how to help a protege set personal and professional goals, but for purposes of this speech, I'm going to choose 1. The next question: I feel confident in the role of a mentor, and I do, but I'm going to put 1. And this is what you would do for your project. Keep in mind, we're talking about the project 4 of mentorship right now. Whatever your project is, be it dynamic leadership, be it effective coaching, be it humor, whatever your project is, the things that you're going to do are going to coincide with this. I know how to actively listen and communicate as a mentor, and that's true. And this says, I recognize how this project applies to my life outside of Toastmasters. All that's true, but for purposes of this demonstration, I'm using the number 1. Competencies, these are the big deal. You will be amazed as to how these competencies and how the project information coincides with much more expensive programs that are available. The following is a list of competencies that you will learn and practice this project, but you have to go through the project to do it. Understand how to actively mentor a protege. Demonstrate an understanding of the role of a mentor. Assist the protege to plan, execute, understand, and evaluate a goal. People learn a great deal from others by observing how they behave. Mentoring is an ongoing responsibility, not a role that you fill in from time to time. As a role model, it is important that your words and actions are in alignment. The most effective mentors are models of the behaviors and levels of achievement that their proteges are working to achieve, which being a mentor forces you to up your game if you are following the project. And see, Toastmasters know about this, and that's why they have it set up the way that they do. A mentor must devote time in order to get to know and help their proteges. It is up to the mentor and protege. Well, why is this? It is up to the mentor and protege how much time they agree to spend together during a project. At a minimum, a mentor must spend 2 hours per month with each protege. How that time is organized is up to you and your protege. Though 2 hours is required, regular communication above the minimum will support the development of a positive mentoring partnership. I have a mentor right now in Leaders Worldwide, and her time difference is not the same as mine. So what we do is we record audio bits on WhatsApp. Since it's difficult for her to be where I am when I want to be there, we send audio clips, and you can accomplish the purpose by doing that. Set clear boundaries for your mentorship partnership at the beginning. Communicate your availability as well as your preferred method of communication and contact. Ask your protege for the same information. If you prefer to be contacted via email between meetings, let your protege know at the onset of the relationship. Make note of your protege's preferences and honor them. Discuss your responsibilities as a mentor with your protege and share your view of his responsibilities. Be clear about what you can and cannot do in your role and give the protege an opportunity to do the same. Share your expectations about confidentiality and any other issues that are important to you. And I assure you that under normal circumstances, there's two things that I steer away from. Number one, I'm not an advocate of reading slides on PowerPoint. Number two, I'm not an advocate of doing PowerPoint on a Zoom presentation. However, the point that I want to make in this particular demonstration is being elevated, is being clarified by doing those two things. So I'm being a little unselfish about this whole thing. And I hope you appreciate my unselfishness. Well, listening is a powerful skill. Simply listening can often be enough to help a protege work through any challenges that she is facing. Give your protege the opportunity to tell you what she needs before you begin to give direct advice. Active listening is a way of listening that is more than sitting back and absorbing what another person says. It is the process of hearing, understanding, and repeating back what you have heard. For example, your protege may share that she wants to give a speech in a few weeks. You could respond with, I understand that you want to give your speech by next month. This type of exchange allows the speaker to hear her own thoughts restated, and it creates an opportunity for clarification and understanding. Additionally, it allows both the speaker and the listener to learn how others hear them and how to more effectively communicate in the future. Now, here's the steps to becoming a better listener. Respect the speaker's point of view. Relax and remain engaged, giving the speaker your full attention. And you should be doing that while I'm speaking right now. Reserve judgment, especially reserve judgment. Notice the speaker's comfort level and excitement. Avoid interrupting. Ask clarifying questions to ensure understanding. And find instances in which you empathize with the speaker's experience. Give nonverbal cues to demonstrate your interest, and summarize and repeat to demonstrate that you understood what the speaker said. Promote independent thinking. As a mentor, you are support for your protege as he makes his way to achieve the goal. A protege may ask for advice, and it is reasonable to provide it as long as the protege has an opportunity to come to his or her own conclusions. Offering advice while still encouraging critical independent thinking is the best way to help a protege solve a problem. The ultimate goal of any mentoring relationship is to build the skills and knowledge of the protege. As the skills and knowledge increase, so does confidence. When a protege asks for advice, it might be more effective to share stories about a similar experience, either yours or another's, rather than directly offering suggestions for what they should do. By telling a story, you indirectly share information while allowing your protege to reach their own conclusion. Encouraging proteges to think for themselves involves standing back and listening or observing more than acting, and the most effective mentors know when to speak and when to observe without comment. Be sure to give each of your proteges the space to learn from experiences. Mistakes are part of the learning process. Asking open-ended questions is another excellent strategy for promoting independent thought, and they can also help mentors to better understand their proteges' motivations and ideas. And looks to me like I had a little diarrhea in the mouth at the beginning of this process. However, I think that the point is made that you must go through the project before you give the speech. And when you give the speech, the thing that you learned in the project will be topmost in your mind. When you are giving speeches in Toastmasters, it is exceptionally helpful that your speeches be interesting. Your personal experiences in your life can easily be superimposed in the things that's necessary to get your project done. And when you get your project done and you deliver a speech that's interesting, the people in your Toastmasters Club will be more apt to come to the next meeting to hear you speak. So set these short-term goals that we are learning in this particular project. And I'm flipping through it a little bit fast now because, like I said, my diarrhea in the mouth put me behind time. Protege self-assessment and action plan, building rapport. So you can see that there's lots of things in this project. Commit to doing it. Once you get rooted and grounded in the fundamentals of accomplishing these competencies and doing them the way that they ought to be done, you will feel better as you grow in your Toastmasters life. And alas, I hope I have encouraged you to actually go through and do the project, because I'm going to go through and do the project. And until next time, thank everyone for your invaluable attention, and do me a big favor and have a good time until then. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Victor, for this real live experience of both Easy Speak and Pathways. I now turn the stage over to Tala Hamid, who will conduct the question and answer portion of the meeting. Tala?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Maureen. And yes, the virtual floor is open for questions, everyone. You can either raise your hand or put one in the chat box. So anyone who has a question.
I have a question.
All right.
Who has been
Yeah.
going through the project before they give their speeches? Anyone here?
Yeah, I've just had a look. Yeah.
Okay, so those of you who have not, was it helpful to see you go through the project? Because going through the project, I believe, is where the rubber meets the road. Your greatness, anybody's greatness that we see occurs when they're alone. So when you're alone, what you do when you're alone is really what's gonna make the difference. You better believe that anybody that's singing, they've sung the song a lot of times before the camera is on.
We have a question from DTM Cynthia. So please go ahead.
Oh, I actually didn't have a question, but I could ask my question. I was just saying that, yes, I have gone through the project. Let me put my hand down. But what I will say is that this is wonderful. And I love that you went through the pathways very clearly so you can get through that. And Easy Speak. And Easy Speak is so important, but it can be overlooked. But Easy Speak is actually going to be the key to our TEDx event. Because if we don't have a handle on our agenda, we can't have a TEDx event. There's no way. It's extra work to do the TEDx event, and the leaders like Kathleen and me and Tala and Victor, we all need to be focused on that bigger vision. So we need everybody to put their hand in and put their shoulder to the plow and actually enter your speaker information into Easy Speak. So our agenda can be humming along and make it very easy for us to all work together as a team. And TEDx is really going to be a team effort. It's going to be quite amazing just to even practice for the TEDx. So I hope you learned your Easy Speak. And if you don't know how to get on, please contact Victor or Kathleen and get the training that you need. I've been getting on myself, so I'm so happy to be on
Thank you
Easy
so
Speak.
much. Thank you so much, DTM Cynthia. And yes, that was a timely reminder. We have a question from Sheena Walker. What's the link between agenda and TEDx?
There is no specific link between TEDx and the agenda, except to say that the agenda prepares you to be a better speaker. The agenda prepares you to work within a framework. So TEDx is mostly content. And if you are not interesting, if your speakers don't follow what I like to call the 8 essential rules of effective public speaking, then your speech is not going to capture anyone. So Toastmasters grooms you and makes you a phenomenal speaker, and you take that and you put it into your TEDx presentation. So there's no actual relationship. TEDx is something that a Toastmaster will excel in if they do the Toastmasters program. Some people become TEDx speakers and never even heard of Toastmasters. But the people who are Toastmasters, we believe that they're going to have a leg up in the process because they'll be better speakers.
Can I say something real quick about that link?
Yeah, please do.
Great. So if you don't use Easy Speak, and if you don't know how to put your information in Easy Speak, you will not be allowed to be on our TEDx. You will not be even able to audition, because that's our rule, because we have to have the agenda humming for you to use to be on TEDx. So you will be excluded, no matter if you're a great speaker or not. If you're not on Easy Speak, you will not be allowed to audition for our TEDx event. Also, just as Victor said, Easy Speak and Pathways are key to making your speech excellent. And everyone is going to have to audition for TEDx. So you have to have an excellent speech, and we're going to take months to practice. I've heard that other TEDx events, they take at least 4 months to practice. And you got to hit those vocal varieties and hit the gestures and hit the eye contact. You have to be a really good speaker in order to get onto our TEDx, because we want your TEDx speech to hit at least 1,000 views. So we want your speech to be good, and you're going to learn also how to market yourself and get your speech out there so the world can hear it, because it's an idea worth spreading, not just sharing, but spreading to the world.
What's also
Thank you.
interesting, Mr. Ben Hamid, is when you employ the Pathways process, when you study the competencies from one project to the other, you can take one speech, one topic, and give it over and over and over, focusing on different aspects of the Pathways project. You can take one speech and focus on vocal variety. You can take another, you can take that same speech and focus on developing your content. You can take that same speech and focus on using presentation software. So the Pathways project does not mean that you have to have 50 completely different topics or 50 completely different speeches. By the time you take your one topic through the Pathways program, you will be pretty much humming in. And some of you have topics already that you are an expert in. And some of the competencies that's in the Pathways, you may already embrace, but you will never know that until you undergo the Pathways process.
Thank you so much. And I think we have overshot the time for question and answers. So I will just add this one thing, that one final link between the agenda and the TEDx event that we are planning to have is that we should get used to following the specified method for everything. There should be a method to every madness, and Easy Speak is the method towards TEDx. So with that, I would urge everyone, if you have any further questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box, and I'll hand over the charge back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Maureen.
Thank you so much, Tala, and thank you, Victor. And I'm speaking to an energy I may feel or be picking up in the room. Toastmasters is about meeting anyone and everyone exactly where you are. We may be happening to talk about TEDx in this because it's a vision and a desire of many people, and it doesn't mean it's about TEDx. This is about us becoming better people. This is about us stepping into our voice. This is about us using our voice and our passion wherever we are. So we are here to meet you wherever you are. If you are a brand new speaker, even only inkling like getting up in front of a classroom and speaking, or being on an international stage. So thank you everyone for being here. It is now time for us to take a break. We'll have a 5-minute break, and after that we will go to table topics. Please, Kathleen, would you please put 5 minutes on the clock, and we will return here. I see on my clock 11:47 or 11:48, and wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Maureen. That was really excellent. Could I ask you, Maureen, do you still have co-host ability? Can you put a G in front of Alpana's name?
I am not sure. I will try.
Let's see. Or Kathleen.
Okay.
And we have any other guests? And Kathleen, did you get my message for putting a G in front of Seema's name? And before she evaluates me, that would be fabulous. And Katar, Katar has a key.
I don't have capacity as co-host anymore. And Kathleen, would you like to stop the recording since we're talking about back audience stuff?
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Welcome back from a very educational, inspiring, and motivating speech. It is now time to move to the second half of our meeting today, and we will be doing table topics first. I welcome to the stage Victor Jenkins, who will talk about the timing for table topics. Victor?
Table topics is a 1 to 2 minute speech, and we have to have timing constraints because some people will never shut up if there's no timing constraints. I'm not saying that there's anybody here like that, but just in case there is, I want you to know that we just have to shut them up. And I'm going to do it by utilizing the red, yellow, and green strategy. At the 2 minutes point, at the 1 minute point, the speaker will see a green. At the 1 minute and 30 seconds, the speaker will see a yellow background. And at the 2 minute section, 2 minute junction, the person will see a red background, at which time they will have 30 seconds with which to complete their table topics presentation or be disqualified from being considered as somebody who follows the table topic rules. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Victor. And now Sheena, let's welcome Sheena to the stage for her to lead table topics.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good evening to all the Toastmasters here. As been highlighted, the agenda's been changed from the end of this section to the beginning of this section. Interesting, earlier Talha mentioned about Toastmasters making us better human beings, a brilliant statement. Victor talked about systems and processes, and that fits very nicely with what the table topics are tonight. And I'm going to give you 3 words that we should ask ourselves every day when we get up before we start the day. And these 3 words are a quality standard. What is a quality standard? It's being personal and professionally working to an elite level to be the very best that you can be. Our world is in turmoil just now because people don't work to a quality standard, but we can. So the questions I would like to ask, I've got 3 questions related to a quality standard, and optimization means being efficient, being effective, being elitist, being the best you can be. And I've got 3 words, and you might want to write this down. The one word is TIP, T-I-P. T stands for trust, I stands for integrity, and P stands for performance. So I'd like to first really ask, perhaps, Marlon, I could maybe ask you, what does trust mean to you? Can you give me an example of how you demonstrate that?
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Trust, in my opinion, is when you can confide in someone to keep your secrets, to keep your innermost thoughts and goals and dreams and fears in their confidence. Trust also means that you can depend on the individual to have your back. For example, in my district, in my area, well, my other district rather, I have to do a club officers training, and because of that, I trust Cynthia to assist me with getting facilitators for the breakout sessions. and I know that I can depend on her, and she will go all over the world, literally, virtually, and find them. So trust is something that is very in short supply, but when you do find it, you have to cherish it. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Marlon. I think that was a valid point at the end. When you find trust, hang on to it. And you're quite right, it's very difficult to find. The second question I'd like to ask, perhaps, Rowan, could you maybe answer a question? Do you feel okay?
Sure.
Could I? Yeah. So Rowan, when you've been listening to what we've been saying, the second part of TIP is the I, which is integrity. Personally, on a personal level at work, I put a lot of store in integrity to people I work with. I don't often see it. Tell me what integrity means to you as a person. I'd love you to share that.
Sure. Being, integrity to me kind of means just taking ownership and just recognizing either when you've done something wrong or also just following a certain set of ideals and rules. And I think something for me where I have to show integrity is actually Ultimate Frisbee. And so we play by something called Spirit of the Game. And it kind of is just, there are actually no referees in Ultimate Frisbee. So we play by kind of just talking out disputes among the different teams. So I think that in one way really represents integrity, because we're not relying on someone else kind of to tell us what to do or how to follow a certain set of rules. We come up with them and then, discuss it and make sure that, we're really following what we find is important in the sport. But I think that's what integrity means to me for the most part. And thank you.
That's super, Rowan. And you know what you've just demonstrated, and I give you a wee star for that, is being a role model. Demonstrating integrity at your young age is being a role model and an ambassador for what you were doing. So well done for that. Thank you for sharing that. So the third question is the P. So we've had trust, the I, integrity. The third one is P for being professional. So I'd like to look at what does professional mean? And you're optimizing day-to-day operations, working with people, marketing, social media, HR, that's a huge, big factor in being professional. But what does professional mean here? So could I perhaps ask Laura to tell me what you think, share with us your ideals about being professional and what we can learn from you. Do you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, and I just need the timer in my, yes. Oh, being a professional, what does it mean for me? I love this question because it's make me thinking. Because for me, I used to grow up in an environment where education was very important and also very stimulated. And that's also what I really appreciated. But at some moment in my life, I experienced that not everything what you need to learn in life is being taught in school. And then my own life became like my own professional learning environment. And for me, I was thinking also lately about it, like what makes someone professional or what makes someone like, how do you say it, like applied or how do you say it? I'm looking for the English word. What makes someone qualified to do something? And I think that's also a question what you can just answer by yourself, because we all have different standards. We all have different thoughts about a certain profession, about a certain expectation about a profession or about a role. And for me, what I sense, which is important, that if I'm doing something in my life or when a certain profession is expected from me, that it's something where I can agree with myself, that I have the qualifications with the things what I have in mind. And when there are things where I'm doubting about or where I maybe feel not qualified about, that I'm also able to share about it. So for me, also being professional also has to do a lot with the other points that you already mentioned, like trust and integrity. And for me, being integer is like very important, just to be honest about your expectations, but also from the other, what you can offer and what not. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, for sharing that with us. And I think what you're doing is highlighting the importance of being professional. And when we bring that together, as Tala highlighted at the beginning, to be a great human being in this world, to be a role ambassador, we need to demonstrate these three things: trust, integrity, and professionalism, because that's what makes us efficient. It's what makes us extraordinary. It's what makes us stand out, and it's what makes us be just great at everything that we do. So go out and be significant in the world, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sheena.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheena. What a wonderful table topics part of the meeting today. And I love the term you introduced me to, a role ambassador. I've never heard that before, so it's something new for me to be with and consider. Now we are moving to the prepared speech part of the program. First off, I introduce Tala bin Hamid to the stage, where he will be the evaluator for Kathleen Peel. Tala?
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. It is my privilege to evaluate Toastmaster Kathleen Peel's project today. It is from the Pathway Visionary Communication, and it's a level 3 elective, Connect with your audience. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. The member completing this project is practicing the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. To do this, the member presents a topic that is new or unfamiliar to your club members. A topic that is unusual or unexpected in your club. Take note of the member's ability to present the unusual topic in a way that keeps the audience engaged. So with that, for the speaker and the title introduction, I hand over the charge back to you, Toastmaster Maureen.
Thank you, Tala. And I realize I went out of order. Now I will introduce Victor Jenkins to the stage, where he will introduce the timing for this speech to us. Victor?
This speech is a 5 to 7 minute speech, and at the 5-minute juncture, you will see the green background. At the 6-minute juncture, you will see the yellow background. And at the 7-minute juncture, you'll see the red background. And you'll have 30 seconds with which to remain qualified, or we will call you some unfriendly thing that we call people who go over time. Back to you, Madame Toastmaster.
Thank you, Victor. Now I introduce Kathleen Peel. Kathleen is the Vice President of Education. She is an inspiration to me as a holder of all of us in our educational journey in Toastmasters. Her speech today is Bridges of Understanding. Kathleen Peel, Bridges of Understanding, Bridges of Understanding. I'm sorry, Bridges of Imagination. Kathleen Peel.
I was 23, taking clairvoyance training, practicing with an older, experienced man. He looked with his mind's eye at what was in my field and said, instead of being afraid to die, you're afraid to live. I felt busted because I knew what he was talking about. Why was I afraid to live in this glorious world? Well, that question and correcting the situation has been part of my quest ever since. My quest has to do with human potential in general. And I guess I have to be included in that work, huh? In addressing that question, I had to look at my unconscious story about that this world is a bad place and I don't belong. And I had to learn how to fully participate here now to engage in practical terms and keep my larger intuitive gifts intact. As I've done this slow, hard work, I wonder, is there a better way, a faster way to bridge that current known reality with the information just outside our familiar world? Well, that is what art does. It's what religion does, dreams, branches of psychology, and it's what Tanya Luhrmann does. And this lady is no slouch. Summa cum laude from Harvard Radcliffe. She took her PhD from Cambridge. Now she's a famous professor at Stanford. She's a psychological anthropologist. What's a psychological anthropologist? We know anthropology is the study of cultures, and psychological anthropology is the study of the psyches of peoples across cultures. Now, a caveat of anthropology requires you do not judge a people by your own standards. So for Luhrmann's PhD, she followed a British group who studied the magical world, and she completely participated with them in all their exercises for a year. Before this study, being logically oriented, she just couldn't imagine how they could come to their ideas. But she participated without prejudgment in in-depth exercises, practicing imagination, using stories, pictures, and themes familiar to mystic lore. During the course of her studies, her own impressions became a vital source of the data that she collected, and her own mental images were becoming sharper in the process. Her own mind became bigger, richer, sharper, expanded. For example, for the course, she had to read a book about the experience of power from Tibetan and Kabbalistic disciplines. Just to read this unfamiliar subject was an exercise in fierce concentration and openness. You'd call that maximum attention. Then in one moment, she says, I had the idea of a power outside of myself and new to me. And I began to feel this powerful power like an electrical charge that came from above my body, through me, and through the floor. She says, I felt fantastic, more clear, strong, and vivid, more alive than ever, she says, completely alert, incredibly sharp. And then she looked over to see smoke coming out of her bag. The battery of her bike light was starting a fire. And before, she wouldn't have paid any attention to it, but now, for her, it was part of a big shift in what was becoming a meaningfully connected world. Part of her participation with the group was to hold dream interpretation classes, keep a journal, and practice what she named inner sense cultivation. Through the year, her dreams became vivid and expressive and communicated Luhrmann's own growth to her in graphic terms. It was like something switched from her looking out to the dream world coming inside of her, and dreams expanded her understanding of her own mind and journey. The year of study changed her own life. In the 30 years since, I'm going to admit Cassandra Garabedian into the room. Yay! Anyway, in the 30 years since, Her dissertation has become a famous book, and Luhrmann a leading figure in anthropology because she bridges many critical, social, and psychological disconnections through her understanding. And she teaches that. Now, you might not care about making magic or smoking batteries. Maybe you don't care about human potential. You might ask, what does this have to do with me? Well, I got to tell you, bridging what we know with what we don't know, what we do not yet know, is how we grow. It fertilizes the world. A great many accounts of scientific and artistic breakthroughs come through this very door. Also, just taking the time to imagine what it's like to be in someone else's shoes, how they grew up, their cultural affiliations. Rather important these days, wouldn't you say? When we want more satisfaction in life, practice that inner sense cultivation, as she calls it. That can bring us the next steps we need. It's a skill that can be expanded and sharpened. And I welcome us in this Toastmasters Club to do that. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kathleen. That's the first time I've heard a direct explanation of the experience that I have when I channel, bringing that energy in and through me. So it really grabbed my attention and drew me in. And I love the practical ways that you introduced us into being more imagination and connected to our dreams. I now ask Toastmaster Victor to put 1 minute on the timer so that our evaluator Tala can make his notes on the speech. 1 minute of silence, please.
That's 1 minute.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I now turn it right back over to you. Please introduce the timing for our second speaker today, Cynthia Stott. Victor.
Cynthia Stott is going to give a 10 to 12 minute speech according to the agenda. That means at the 10-minute juncture, we are going to see a green background. At the 11 minutes juncture, we are going to see a yellow background. And at the 12-minute junction, we're going to see a red background, at which time Cynthia will have 30 seconds to complete her speech or be put in the category of people that don't respect time. Back to you, Madame Toastmaster.
Thank you, Victor. Now I introduce our guest and esteemed distinguished Toastmaster Seema Giri, who will be evaluating Cynthia's speech today. Seema.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'm excited to be here. So the purpose of
Louder, please.
Is that better?
A little better.
Okay, I'll hook up my mic a little bit. Okay, so the purpose of Cynthia's speech is
You
just for
sound
the
like you're
members.
way far away in a tunnel, Seema. Can you get a little closer to your microphone, perhaps?
So it hooked up to my external one.
Okay,
better?
that's great.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Okay, great. Okay, everyone, glad to get this sorted. I'm happy to be here. I mean, being an evaluator for Cynthia is quite a task, I would say, since she's an expert. So the purpose of her speech today is for her to reflect on her growth during the completion of an entire path. And the purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her growth during the completion of a path. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Seema. Distinguished Toastmaster Cynthia Stott is the past Select Distinguished Area Director and the Charter President and current Vice President of Public Relations for Leaders Worldwide. She is an international speech and confidence coach, as well as a global visibility influencer with over 50,000 followers in over 140 countries. I know from my personal experience, Cynthia really supported me to have more confidence to show up at Toastmasters. And the failure was not an option here. My persuasive influence path journey, Cynthia Stott, my persuasive influence path journey.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And you are beautifully confident. I love it. I love it. Persuasive influence. I started this path way back in July 2021, and I went through the whole 5 levels of it in 1 year. And oh my gosh, I learned so much through this path. During this pathway, I was able to have a high performance leadership project, an HPL project, where I gathered a group of guidance committee members around me. I had Dr. Michelle Peticolis and our division director, Tong Yin, were on my guidance committee. And I had all these action team members. I have Kathleen Peel and Victor Irving Jenkins. And from Heart to Heart, I got Annabelle Colstock to help me with the project. So 2 projects that I was working on was keynote speakers, bringing keynote speakers to Leaders Worldwide, and we have them booked through September. And after that, we're going to start focusing on practicing our own speeches. So we'll leave more room for that in getting ready for TEDx. And not everybody at Leaders Worldwide has to be on TEDx, absolutely not. And it is an audition program, and it's separate from Toastmasters, but it's an opportunity that we're going to be giving ourselves at Leaders Worldwide. And I also brought guest DTM evaluators and speakers, and that really leveled up the speeches and the evaluations that were in our meetings, as well as leveling up the members that we brought from there. We were able to get DTM Judith Ferber through that program, and we're still courting one of the top level Toastmasters of the world that's very popular through that program. So what I was able to do while working on these projects was to think about, how can I persuade more effectively? How can I influence more effectively? And out popped the idea for TEDx. Without me going through this pathway and these projects, I don't think I would have come up with TEDx as an option for us, because we are going to be the very first club in the entire world, Toastmasters Club, that will have a TEDx event. So it's a real unusual idea. And I don't think I would have gotten that without going through this path and having a vision to get all 5 levels completed within the year so I could get what is called an Outstanding Achievement Toastmaster Award, which I submitted recently and will be receiving at our district level installation of officers meetings. And that I think is on the 30th of the month or the 31st. It's coming up sometime soon. And one of the things I also did is I worked on my laptop having Zoom so I could be seen fully, which I'm not today because it didn't work. I still have to work on that, but I did that because I'm getting prepared to give my TEDx speech, and we're hoping that it can be virtual and all of us can participate wherever we are from around the world. But that's one of the questions that I'm going to answer in August. In August, I am going to completely not participate in meetings for Leaders Worldwide. I'm just going to focus on TEDx and the Speakers Bureau and getting us ready for TEDx. I'm going to be gathering my team of organizers and finding an actual organizer who will hold a license for us, because there are many, many questions that we have. Also, I'm going to be pulling back from Leaders Worldwide, and I won't be contacting you, running interference for you with our VPE, Kathleen Peel. She contacts me and says, Susie is not answering my emails. She's not answering my texts or WhatsApp, or she's not answering my phone calls. What can I do? And I contact Susie and she responds to me and I connect her with Kathleen. I'm not going to be doing that anymore, starting with August. So I'm pulling back, cutting off those apron strings so that you can all step forward as the leaders that you are and the speakers that you are, whether or not you choose to participate in TEDx or not. We want our Leaders Worldwide meetings to run smoothly. We want everyone to take responsibility for themselves, meeting their role responsibilities. So if they're a speaker, they put their information in Easy Speak. If they're an evaluator, they put their information in Easy Speak, so that you all can take responsibility. And if you all take responsibility for your own roles, then I and the other leaders can take responsibility to take us to a place that no other no other Toastmasters club has ever been to. So you have a chance to be a part of something new and different. And you also have a chance to be a part of the Speakers Bureau, and we're working on that as well. And we're doing so many unusual and different things that Toastmasters clubs have not done. And we need to do all the things like Victor was talking about that Toastmasters do, like pathways and Easy Speak, so that we can have a well-oiled machine and we can show up really well on TEDx. Because my vision is that every speaker from Leaders Worldwide on TEDx will have at least 1,000 views. And that's not the case, unfortunately, for many, many TEDx speakers. Unfortunately, some of them are even embarrassed of their TEDx speech because it doesn't align with who they are and their message that they want to bring the world. And so that's why we're going to be focusing here on Leaders Worldwide to make sure you're making that message is the one you want to amplify to the world. And I will also be helping you if you want, choose to do it. You can work with me on my group program. It's a paid program. And you can also work on privately with me as well, so that your speech has the 4 elements of a world champion speech that also work for TEDx. Awesome. So contact me individually and let me know if you're interested in that. But last night, I had an amazing experience. I really got to experience and understand what true persuasive influence is. I had never seen persuasive influence like this. I was running a clubhouse room on TEDx and my program, 4 Elements of a World Champion Speech. And in popped someone I didn't know. He had over 10,000 followers. We had probably 4 or 5 people on stage. It was very small. And he proceeded to tell us what he spoke on TEDx. And I was amazed. He is an African-American male. He's about, I think he's in his late 30s. And he used to belong to a gang in New York. And he realized that I'm going to end up dead or in jail. So he worked really hard to get out of the gang. And he was an athlete, and he picked up ping pong. Ping pong? He was really surprised himself. He didn't think ping pong was even a sport. But he picked up ping pong, and he actually went to North Korea, communist North Korea, has very close borders. It's a very dangerous place, actually. I know someone who was captured there, and she faced 12 years hard labor for going there without permission. And President Clinton had to get her out of there. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But what he did is he played ping pong in front of 5,000 North Koreans. He was the only American. No one would go with him, not his friends, not his team, no one. And he played against a South Korean, and they cheered him, and he could feel the anger and the hatred toward him because he was American. And they really strongly, probably for some good reasons, hate Americans. And so what he did is he just flashed him a smile. And at the end of the game, he lost. And when his opponent came up to shake his hand, you could tell his opponent really didn't want to shake his hand. He stuck his hand way out there like that. And he grabbed his hand and his arm and embraced him in a bear hug, a complete bear hug. And he was applauded. He changed his world, if not the world, 5,000 North Koreans. He changed their impression about him and about Americans in general. That's persuasive influence and bravery and courage. I was absolutely amazed at him. And I can post his TEDx talk if you like. But to me, well, because I am who I am, I'm trying to court him to become one of our members. I think he would be fabulous at the World Champion of Public Speaking. But I really applaud his vision, because he had a vision that he was going to go to North Korea for diplomacy and world peace, like a beauty queen. You know, beauty queens say that all the time, world peace. But he really meant it, and he really got it. One person at a time. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you so much, Cynthia. That was a beautiful example of how you stepping into your persuasive influence path is impacting each one of us, and how there are literally an infinite number of ways that we can be persuasive and influence that is unique to us. Now I ask Victor to put 1 minute on the timer so we can have 1 minute of silence for evaluator Seema to gather her notes.
That is 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Victor. I want to celebrate us as we have been optimizing time. We are actually 4 minutes ahead of schedule. Woo-hoo-hoo to each one of us who has, with all of the bobbing and weaving and presentations and impact we have done. We are modeling and living into a time optimization here. Now we are moving to the general evaluation portion of the meeting. And I invite, let's invite Marlon Parejo, our general evaluator for today, to the stage for his portion of the meeting. Marlon, I see you here.
Oh, he's not muted.
And I see your mute. We can't see your picture, so I'm not sure if you're talking and don't realize you're muted, or if you are not available because you are muted and we can't see you. Oh, there we go. He's off mute. Wonderful. Thank you, Marlon.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was looking for the application so I can unmute myself. Okay, I was listening, and is it that you wanted me to evaluate Cynthia Stott? Is that it, or just do my regular general evaluation?
Well, first the timer gives the timing report, and then the first and the second evaluators give their evaluations, and then you give your, actually, I'm sorry. First, Victor does the timing for the evaluations, then the evaluators do their evaluations, and then you give your evaluation of the meeting.
And the timer and grammarian report.
Correct.
So the timer and agreement comes after.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm learning as I go along. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. And I'm hoping that everyone can hear me because I'm in a police station and everybody's being all loud and I can't scream at them because I want you to think I'm a nice person. Let's hear from our timer, Mr. Victor Jenkins, to hear how we've done as it relates to time. Mr. Jenkins.
Evaluation is a 2 to 3 minute speech. At the 2 minute juncture, you will see a green background indicating you have qualified for being a Toastmaster evaluator. At the 2.5 minute juncture, you will see a yellow background. And at the 3 minute juncture, you will see a red background, at which time you will have 30 seconds with which to complete your evaluation so that you can be considered as someone who honored the time. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. And we now call upon our the first evaluator for the first speech at this time to give her evaluation and feedback about the first speech. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. It is so fortunate today that we had a reshuffle in the agenda and we got to hear Kathleen. So, Toastmaster Kathleen, first of all, I was stunned by the way you seamlessly transitioned us all from the known rational world to the world of unknown. Seriously, you just took the topic and you walked us into the unknown realm in a very matter-of-fact way, as if that was a everyday occurrence for you, and it should be for all of us. And for me, that is the crux of this project, familiarizing audience with an unfamiliar topic. And truly, for most of us, it was unfamiliar, and yet by the end of your speech, we were thinking about how the world of magic, the world of unknown, the world of spirituality coexists right alongside us in each and everything we do. And that was beautiful. You managed to use the word of the day. And one more thing that I noticed about your speech was your exceptional punctuation, not verbal, but through your facial expressions and your eye movement and your gestures. That was absolute treat to watch, and I would like to learn to do that because that was absolutely fantastically done. You had an attention-grabbing start. You had a typical hero's journey when you told us about yourself that you were not afraid of dying, but you were afraid to live. And boy, haven't we been there. And we are always there every now and then. And we need somebody to pull us out of that. So then you transition to your main topic, and that was absolutely fantastic. And finally, you made us care about the project. You challenged us, that some of us may not believe in whatever you were saying in the world of magic, in the world of spirituality, in the world of unknown. But why did we need to care? We needed to care because we need to put ourselves in others' shoes and see the world from their eyes. That alone is a magical thought for me. A few improvement areas, and just a few. First of all, your camera angle could use a little improvement because we could not see all of your gestures. Yeah, and mine can use it too. So yeah, I know fully well what you're about to say. But yeah, just treat it as an example of what not to do. All right. And secondly, at times when you mentioned about the smoking battery fire and you mentioned about magic, your tone of your voice stayed essentially the same. It could have become a little more dramatic, a little more ethereal to go along with the areas that you were leading us into. So overall, absolutely fantastic speech. You fulfilled the project objectives beautifully. You led us into an unknown world that was a bridge between the known world and the supernatural. And you made us realize that the only bridge that we needed was acceptance to transition from the known to the unknown. So beautifully done. Congratulations, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evaluator. And we now transition smoothly over to our second evaluator. The floor is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So as Cynthia knows, I'm always up for a great challenge. So when I was asked to evaluate Cynthia, it was a great honor and got me thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do this because she's such a great speaker. But then I realized, there's always some room. But I found today, as I was listening to Cynthia, that it actually is enhancing my listening skills, right? I have to listen a little bit more attentively to really catch something. And then I got lost in her beautiful blue eyes as she was speaking. What a great example of persuasive influence, Cynthia. It was amazing. I mean, I think most of us go through the past, doing the past, but you go through a path making a whole an event out of it, basically, because you come up with these amazing ideas, you get everyone involved, and it's like we're all going through that path. So when we choose those paths in the future, we know exactly what to do. Very impressive of all the results that you've gotten as you have gone through this persuasive influence path. I loved your vocal variety. You really excelled in that. You don't even need any props or anything because your vocal variety is so good. We can really go through the whole terrain of your speech with your vocal variety that you have. amazing eye contact. Great examples of persuasive influence. I love that example of the individual who came to your clubhouse and how he was able to make that change through his smile and giving a hug. When you're in another culture, it's really uncomfortable in doing the things that it comes naturally to you because you don't know how the people are going to accept it. But love and graciousness always does win hearts over. So that was really amazing. Very engaging. A few stretch goals that I would like to share that you might want to consider, and you've already mentioned it in your speech, was having a visual component. So if you're on your laptop, maybe we can see you fully or you know, whatever makes sense, and you could use the stage and maybe have some props and show us some interesting things to really drive down your point a little bit more. But other than that, you know, and using gestures as well. Other than that, I think you were able to make your point very clearly, confidently, and, you know, eye contact, vocal variety, everything was at the top level. Great learning through your speech. Thank you so much, Cynthia. And back to you, General Evaluator.
You, Miss Evaluator, and now we will transition smoothly over to our grammarian / accountant to let us know how we did with our grammar. Madam Grammarian, over to you.
I think that is Sally today, as we are talking about wonderful speeches.
Sally, you went on mute.
I'm on mute?
Oh, you're off. I don't know what happened.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm delighted to evaluate today because so many interesting uses of phraseology took me away today. And very many of our speakers today used attention at least once or twice, and occasionally Victor and more than 5. But most of the things that caught me was, I'll start with Cynthia, she's at the top of the list, which was level up, the expression level up. It affects in a different way. And I thought her ending her speech in tears affected many of us, which is a very challenging ability. And thank you. I enjoyed seeing the example. Victor used the word competency. I thought that was great. And a role as ambassador by Sheena. And Seema, the whole terrain of your approach. What a visual feeling for how you express something. That was just lovely. And Victor, the view of attitude. I thought that was an amazing expression. So thank you. I love to catch words and phrases that are fresh and a new approach to something we've heard a lot, and yet it catches the body and the magicality of what we use today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Grammarian, and I will give my evaluation for this entire meeting. I especially love the fact that the timer gave the time at the beginning of each speech. That is a new thing for me. Usually in my country, we do things all at the beginning, but doing it before each speech gives the guest that idea of what the speech is about, but also the timing and so on. So it makes for good following of the agenda. I especially love the information of the different speeches, the education segment. Those are well done and well scripted. If I were to give an opinion, my country is a very musical country. Some music would be wonderful, especially during the break time, the 5-minute break and even the 1-minute break, something slow, something smooth, nothing too fast, nothing too distracting for the evaluators. But other than that, I would say that this meeting is a resounding success, and I will definitely be signing up for that TEDx training. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Marlon. I loved the idea of music and movement here, so we can all help. It helps for me as a speaker, it helps me be in my body more. And the timing report is one thing I would also love to hear. So I just caught myself with a so. Toastmaster Victor, would you give us the timing report for today's meeting? Oh, you're on mute.
Everyone qualified time-wise with the exception of one lone wolf. And it's really surprising that this lone wolf didn't qualify, but Mrs. Peel, you went over. Everyone else stayed within their constraints.
Thank you, Victor. And now I turn the meeting over. Let's welcome Catherine Peel, our Vice President of Education, to the stage to talk about what she is inspired to share with us.
I would like just to go over so everyone really follows. I would like to show us all how to sign up for roles in future weeks. It's so great. You can sign up for the functionary role of your choice. How do I want to progress? Do I want to step up to evaluator? Do I want to step up to general evaluator, etc.? So in the menu bar, the third one after home, after meetings, the third drop down is sign up for meetings. There we have the very top row. You say, are you going to be at this meeting? Yes or no. The second row is where you hit the button to request a speech. I'll show you that in a moment. And then below that are all the functionary roles. And then the columns to the right are the future dates for the meetings. Now I'll just show you once again. There it is, the button to request a speech. I'll stop sharing and reshare. There it is, the beautiful pop-up. This is the frame where you address all three tabs. The left tab, you put your title. Below that is your introduction, 2 or 3 sentences only. Then here is the drop down where you will pick up, it will open up and you will find your path and your project. And then the far right tab is you'll select which of the dates you prefer most, second and third. When you send that off, then you must save at the top right. You must save at the top right, otherwise it's lost. So when you do that, then your VPE will fit you into the meeting, and we will be cooking with gas. We will be systematized and working together. That's the last little bit. I thank you very much for participating with us so that we are a team. And I would like to turn it back to our new president, Talha bin Hamid, who is going to make any announcements and final takeaways.
Thank you so much. And of course, there is one announcement, and that is our district's TLI is coming up, and it is on July. Wait a second, let me check out dates, because in fact there are 2 or 3 events on my radar and I keep mixing them up. So just bear with me, please. So wait a second. It's on July.
It's this Saturday, July 16th.
July 16th. Yeah.
Yeah, from 9 to 1 Pacific.
Yeah. So everyone, please make sure to use the WOVA app to register for it. And even if you're not a club officer, someday you will be. It will be valuable training for you, not only to perform club meeting roles, but really to perform any role, in real life, outside of Toastmasters. That's what I found. And what's more important is that no less than 3 representatives from leaders worldwide will be the trainers in this TLI. And I think that is something that we should all celebrate. And all members are strongly urged to cheer these trainers on and give them all the support that they need. Now, I believe it is time for the takeaways and the giveaways. And I will be changing things. Sorry. DJ Cynthia, you were saying something?
Somebody's clicking again, and Sally Reyes is unmuted. So if you could mute, but it's very hard to hear when someone's speaking and there's this clicking in the background. And I think it is
All right.
Sally. Now I hear.
I think it may be Tala, actually.
Oh,
Right.
Are you clicking something, Tala?
No, not at all. Can you hear
Yeah,
the
we
clicking
keep hearing this typing, clicking in the background. It's distracting.
That's funny. I'm not, my hands are right here. So
that's
Could be
right.
something with your microphone.
Yeah, maybe. Let me just try changing things up a little bit. So,
Oh, that's better. The background noise went away when you did whatever you did, because it was as if there was an extra room.
now is it better?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. So
Thank
it was
you.
just a matter. So, it was just a matter of changing this microphone to the laptop microphone. Although this is supposed to provide you with a clearer sound, but with technology, as you know, things often work the opposite of how they're supposed to work. So apologies for that. At least we solved the mystery. And it turned out that the joke's on me. The clicking sound was coming from my window. Anyhow, apologies for that. And now it is time for our takeaways. But before the takeaways and the giveaways, I'll try to change things up a bit. And I would like to remind everyone that, this very meeting here, the way we are together in this gathering, in this virtual gathering, this is the most important thing in the world right now. We always try to invite as many people as possible to these meetings. And sometimes we feel down when the attendance falls short of our expectation. But trust me on one thing. This is by no means unique to us. This is a worldwide phenomenon. And once the meeting starts, the only people that matter are the ones that are in the meeting. So we should direct all our attentions to the people that are in the meeting, because we love to be with each other and we love to learn from each other. And that's what it's all about. So I will first invite our guest Ron King. Would you like to share your thoughts? And then have a virtual giveaway.
Sure. Sorry, so I'm sharing my thoughts about just the meeting in general, or? Okay.
Yeah. What did you take away from the meeting?
I think, again, it's really great to just be able to listen to people give speeches. It kind of helps you know what kinds of things you need to practice. And I think a lot of like the hand gestures and eye contact and that sort of stuff was useful to know as well, because it's not just about the words, it's also about how you present yourself. I think what I took away, I think that was probably the most important thing today for me, but it's also just great practice to be able to continue speaking in front of other people. But yeah, so thank you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And I would like to give out pizzas and not chocolates. Sorry, DT and Cynthia. I would like to change things up a little bit. So, what kind of pizza would you like? And you can specify any topping. We won't judge.
I'll do Hawaiian pizza.
Oh my God, the bone of contention. We'd soon have a third world war based on whether a Hawaiian pizza is legit or not. But okay, fine. Have it your way. And, I've spun it around and I've taken it out in the oven. And there you go. So are you ready to catch it?
Yes.
Yeah. There it is. Enjoy. Next, I'd ask someone who has not had the opportunity to do that in quite a while. DT and Cynthia, what about you? What is your takeaway on the meeting? You're always on the receiving end. Today, you're on the giving end.
Wow, it was a great meeting. I loved Kathleen's presentation. That was awesome and well worth going over a little bit over time. That was tremendous. And I just loved hearing you speak, Kathleen. I know you pinched hit and you stepped in at the last minute, and that was fabulous. I would love to hear you more often because you just really have such wisdom to share with us. And Victor, I really appreciated your keynote presentation and how you kind of brought it all together and how we can be more effective speakers and communicators and leaders, and how our club can function better. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I think every piece was great. I love that Seema stepped in at the last minute and was able to evaluate me. You stepped in at the last minute and evaluated Kathleen. I just love our teamwork and I love our collaboration. And, life is messy. And things are going to happen last minute. We're going to have technology issues. We're going to have clicking that we aren't sure where it's coming from. And we're going to have people that are stuck in airports like Teresa Cherry was today, and she wasn't able to be my evaluator. I love how we just stepped up and stepped in and made it really heartfelt, authentic, and flow as smoothly as possible. So great job, everyone.
So your pizza, please.
My pizza. Well, you don't like mine either. I love Hawaiian pizza with the pineapple on it. I think it's awesome. But my favorite is, it's got pork in it, so you won't like it. But that's okay. It's my pizza. Mushrooms,
it's your pizza.
Black olives, and sausage. Little bits of tasty sausage. Thank you.
All right.
And deep dish. I like thick deep dish, Chicago style.
All right. So yeah, I can't make it myself for reasons known to everyone, but I have ordered it from somewhere. Here it is. So are you ready to get it? Yeah. All right. There you go.
Woo! Oh,
Enjoy.
Gosh, it's made a splat because it's so deep and juicy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yum, yum, yum.
So yeah, Toastmaster Kathleen.
I want to thank Maureen Javier for doing a fantastic job as Toastmaster of the Day. She teaches me every time I try to teach her. She tells me, oh, but look what else you could do, Kathleen. See how you can streamline your work, is what she told me. She said, get out of people's way. Let them take their own responsibility. I know my mentor, Victor Irving Jenkins, never heard of that one before. But anyway, I'm also, she's smart. She's beautifully spirited. And I'm really grateful for the work she's done in the past day or two, getting all of these tangles untangled. And then I am very grateful to say how happy I am to entrust our club to you, Talha. It's just such a smooth transition. We love to be in your presence, and you're very competent. So I want to thank you both very much.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And perhaps you shouldn't have said those things about me in the first meeting. They would have been better if you had said at the last meeting of the year, because now I'm even more scared than I was before. But thank you so much for your confidence. I hope I'm able to live up to this beautiful set of people's expectations and standards, because each and every one of you is inspiring. And I mean that. I know we say that all the time in Toastmasters, but in Leaders Worldwide, we don't say things just to say things. We really mean that. And I really mean that. So what's your pizza, Toastmaster Catherine?
Oh, Talha, come with me to Milan.
Oh, wow.
And we'll sit in front of in the plaza, in front of the mammoth cathedral there.
Right.
And we'll just sit at a tall table. We'll not sit, we'll stand at a tall, narrow table and look up at the cathedral, the million spires on that cathedral. And we'll take one thin slice of authentic Italian Milan pizza. Little bitty slice, very thin, simple, maximum pure flavors.
I think you did us no favors, because now we're all hungry as hell. And you know, it's 1 a.m. here. So one can only imagine, if I order a pizza right about now, what will happen to me. So please, everyone, please pray for my health. And I'll take you up on that offer next time I'm in Milan, and I'll call you up, and we'll have an amazing time together. So next we have our guest, Alpana Aras King. I hope I haven't butchered it.
We should allow anyone, including Talha bin Hamid, to sign off, because we are at the end of the meeting. So
sure.
just to everyone to understand.
Sure.
Okay, so I enjoyed today a lot. I missed the first part, but I was able to come in like a little bit later. I actually really enjoyed my son's table talk, and I'm also seeing the confidence in him grow, which is a huge testament to being in this environment and just like a really supportive community. So that's something I have felt as a takeaway. And then the second thing I was going to say is that the realization that even evaluations can be a speech, and almost like an impromptu speech. And I really enjoyed that, along with the speeches themselves. And Tala, as I messaged you, yours was really beautiful. So, thank you so much for, letting me be a guest even longer. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. We loved having you, and we look forward to have you again. And as informed by our VP Education, and everybody knows that VP Education is the real president. So, so we need to end the meeting now. So anybody who wants to share their feedback on the meeting, please do so at the club's chat box, because I believe that only the members are remaining. Yeah.
I want my pizza before we go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you so much for reminding. Yeah. So what's your pizza?
Okay, so I'm going to go with my favorite, which is a place called Escape from New York in the Bay Area. And their pizza is a potato pesto with grilled garlic, thin crust pizza. It's amazing.
You have potato on pizza.
Yes.
Now I've heard everything. All right. Wow. All right. That sounds amazing. So here's your potato pesto, and I've missed the rest.
Garlic. Yes.
Garlic, roasted garlic pizza. So please catch it
What the?
and share it with your son as well. So yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
All
That
right.
was yummy.
Thank you so much, everyone, for getting us all hungry. I'm sure there will be like phone calls to pizza delivery services immediately after this meeting. We have to end this meeting now due to the fact that we've exceeded our time. But everyone, especially the members, if you want to share your opinion about the meeting, please go ahead and share it on the group's WhatsApp, on the club's WhatsApp. So thank you so much, everyone, and see you very soon. Enjoy your pizzas.
Bye bye.
Delicious. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.